You got this. You got this. You want to talk about favorite books of all time? The people already know what they are. The people already know. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, MelReads. My name is Mel and today I have a quick favorites video where we talk all about my favorite books of all time. Now in today's video we have a mix of books that are pretty well known and then some books that are kind of more low-key, kind of more underground. And if you've been watching me for a while then you know exactly what some of my favorite books of all time are. So let's do a little something right now because I want to see how well you guys know me, and you know, it's just all about the vibes right here. So pause the video, comment down below what you think my top favorite book of all time is gonna be, or if you have any guesses as to what my favorite books, my top 5 favorite books will be, let me know down below. And these are books that you've heard me talk about all the time. And if you are new, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below for more bookish content. If you vibe, if you feel, you know what to do. I am constantly uploading videos and all of my social media links are also down below. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into my favorite books of all time. So I think it's gonna be pretty easy to guess what my all-time favorite books are. I feel like I'm constantly talking A, about the same books, or B, just raving about these books constantly and how they made me cry or how they made me feel or how I just feel like everyone should be reading these. So I think it's a pretty safe bet to kind of guess what they are. So for the first one, and I just need everybody to get on it, like it's so good, and I'm talking about Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. Amari is about Amari, and we follow her after her brother's disappearance because nobody is making a big deal out of it, and she is determined to find him at all costs. She goes onto the internet, into social media, constantly posting pictures and videos of him in the hopes that somebody will have seen him somewhere around. And one day she receives a mysterious briefcase left to her by her brother for her eyes only, in which there is an invitation for trials at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. Amari seizes this opportunity because she thinks this is the one way to figure out exactly what happened to her brother, because she believes this is somehow tied to what is going on in the supernatural world. But once she gets to these trials, nothing is as simple as it seems, because all of these kids have been familiarized with magic for their entire lives and she clearly has not. And she also finds out that her power is indeed illegal, and everything just starts taking so many twists and turns. The magic system in here is unbelievably amazing. If you know me, then you know I freaking love the elevators. If you've read the book, then you know about the elevators. But it's just such a fantastic read. I think it talks a lot about loyalty and just the relationship between Amari and Quentin, which is so tight. I just loved seeing that kind of bond between siblings and how Amari was really willing to go to the end of the earth for her brother. She wants to make everyone understand that she is as normal as any kid out there. We also love Dylan. If you know, you know. This really just needs to be like a 10-book series at this point. Like I'm just gonna DM my friend B.B. Alston because he follows me on Twitter. And the next book on my list is, yes, you probably guessed it right, Jade City by Fonda Lee. Absolutely love this book. Now, if you like books that have magic with consequences, this is definitely one that you will enjoy. We stan Hilo and his nipple rings in this household. It's the only way to live. Also, don't think that there's romance in here because there's not. There's just that one little scene at the beginning. But beside that, like, this book is about family mostly and like familial dynamics, and again, magic with consequences rather than anything else. So I don't think there's romance in here. And in this one we follow the honorable Greenbone warriors that have been enhancing their abilities with jade throughout centuries, and they do so to defend the magical island of Kekon from their enemies. However, after raging war for years, the war is now finally over and a new generation is stepping up to take control over the city, particularly 4 siblings who are grasping for its power, except that the little piece that they've been able to acquire after said war is now threatened to be broken by an enemy clan. It's said to be very reminiscent of the old school Hong Kong gangster movies, and I feel like that translates so well onto Jade City. It's such an action-packed book. Like, there is not one dull moment in here. I just absolutely love this. We hate Barrow in this household too. If I were to fan cast Barrow, it would literally be a cockroach. Like, we do not talk about Barrow in this household. If you're you're a Barrow stan, this is not the place to be. Let me tell you that right now. Also, protect Andon at all costs. You heard it here first, people. There is no other way to live but that. I just love the way that Fonda Lee crafted this world and how she is a master at building such complex and interesting yet flawed characters. I think that is also another aspect that really shines with this book. I will say, although the plot is slow building, I can see how that sets up Jade War. But even if it's kind of slow building throughout the book, the first 6 chapters do such a well job at establishing the world and establishing the characters that we're gonna see all throughout the story. So safe to say that I'm very excited for Jade Legacy this year. I cannot wait to see green, red, and blue all collide in my bookshelves. It's gonna be so pretty. It's gonna be a moment, okay? It's gonna be a moment. And I think it's also no surprise that because this is a favorites video, I just had to put a Christina Forrest book in here. And so the next one is I Wanna Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. And in this one we follow Chloe, who unexpectedly finds love on her way to a ballet audition. A ballet audition that her mother has very strictly told her that she cannot apply to. And so she starts devising this very low-key underground plan in order to drive hundreds of miles away from her house in order to attend said audition into the academy of her dreams. However, it all takes a turn once her neighbor Eli insists on hitching a ride with her because he needs to visit his father, and if she doesn't allow him to come with her, then he will tell her mom that she is running away, kind of running away, in order to go to this audition that she has been forbidden to attend. And so these two embark on a journey together alongside Eli's dog, and in this journey there's a bunch of cute moments with playlists and the dog and just a bunch of cute moments on the road. I just wish I had somebody like Eli in my life. Don't get me started on Geezer because he was just, I love animals in books. If there is any sort of pet in a book, I will most likely adore the book, and the fact that Geezer was such a big part of the story, I was just here for all of it. It's just like all of the cute vibes that you'd want from a YA. Meanwhile, exploring yourself and kind of finding and establishing what you really want to do with your life. It's really just a story about finding yourself and your voice, especially because the main character is a ballerina. You guys also know I love anything to do with the arts, and also the fact that this was such a prominent part in the story, like I was just living for it. I didn't think I would enjoy a road trip book as much as I did this one, but honestly after reading this, like it's safe to say, like I just love Christina Forrest writing so much. And you guys would know, like if you see me in live streams and you guys ask me for like YA recommendations, when I go into the chat and I drop them, I just go like, of course, like Christina Forrest, like you have to read Christina Forrest. Eli also is kind of cocky, which I love. Like I just love characters that are kind of more full of themselves. And the next one, you guys know, is one of the inner circle's fave. I just love the fact that all of us love this book, and also it was Jaleesa who actually made me read this book because I didn't think Jaleesa was gonna love this as much as she did. And so the fact that Jaleesa loved Ninth House, like it's one of her favorite books, I was just like, you know what, I need to jump into Ninth House because if Jaleesa says so, then I need to read her favorite books, you know what I mean? Of course, the next book is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and this is an adult fantasy dark academia, and this really makes me want to deep dive more into the subgenre of gothic literature, into specifically dark academia. There are trigger warnings for this book, so just be warned. There is mention of rape, there is also the mention of self-harm, there is also substance abuse, both on drugs and the alcohol end, and there's just a bunch of other things in here like mutilation, and just this book is just a lot, so just be warned that it is kind of a heavier read. I think it's kind of inherent when you look at dark academias that they are going to be darker in tone, so don't expect this to be a lighthearted read. But in this one we follow Alex Stern when she wakes up in the hospital after a very big accident where she was the sole survivor, and once she is in the hospital she gets the offer of a lifetime literally by one of the higher people in Yale University, and they offer her a full ride scholarship as long as she is inducted into Yale's secret society called the Lethe, and there they could really make use of her power because Alex is able to see grays that are ghosts, and she has been able to do so her entire life. In fact, that is one of the bigger things that is weighing on her as a character, and she goes there and she is very much an outsider. She doesn't fit the mold of what you would typically see in a such high society school as Yale. She doesn't have the money, she doesn't come from a well-off family, she is what people would call the kid from the wrong side of the tracks. She definitely, again, stands out like a sore thumb. She didn't even have the academics in order to get to Yale. However, once she is there, she finds herself going deeper and deeper into the secret societies of Yale and what each of them is able to do and how she kind of fits into this world and the role that she will play here. And a lot of dark stuff is happening in here with a murder and a disappearance both happening at the same time. Alex finds herself in a position where she truly needs to chase for answers, even if it's something that she doesn't want to do. Finds herself in a position of the need to do it. And so I really admire Alex's bravery because it's definitely not an easy thing to do. She also had a lot of PTSD and trauma to get past throughout the book, and I just think her character growth was really fantastic. And beside that, Darlington is definitely one of my favorite characters. I loved his chemistry. His dynamic with Alex was just fan-freaking-tastic. And beside that, Dawes. We all love Dawes in this household. We gotta stan her. But you guys know, I've talked about this book a lot of times, as has Jaleesa. And the last book on my list, my top favorite book of all time. If you didn't guess this book, then you haven't been watching enough of my videos, is what I'm thinking. So my top favorite book of all time is, yes, you guessed it, If He Had Been With Me by Lauren Allen. So if you want a hard-hitting contemporary that has romance still in it, but is gonna tug at your heartstrings, if you want to cry, then this is the book for you. If you guys have been following me for a while, this is a book that I mentioned way back when I started my channel. I also don't have the physical copy with me right now because I lent it to a friend, but I have the same copy as Jaleesa, the one that has the big Target sticker. I'm like, I really just want to peel that off because it looks so bad. So just pretend that I'm holding it and covering the Target sticker because it's like, it's not the vibe. And in this one, we follow Autumn and Finn, who are kind of two best friends that grew apart in a sense. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're strangers, and I wouldn't necessarily say that they're enemies, but like somewhere in between and like a mix of both. And these two have grown up together their entire lives. In fact, their moms were pregnant at the same time because they wanted to have kids at the same time. So their friendship kind of dates back even before they were born, and like the way that they were conceived, I guess. That's like a weird way to say it, but like it's just one of those friendships that was kind of carved in stone before it even came to be. They are also neighbors, and their mothers are obviously best friends, so they literally growing up did everything together. However, once they are in middle school, something happens. I won't say why because spoilers, but something happens that is kind of the catalyst to them drifting apart, and they are constantly walking on eggshells with each other. And like as a reader, you know that they have feelings for each other still, even if they've grown apart and even if they have their own separate group of friends. And I just loved the interactions because they were so funny. It was so great. And if you've read this book, then you know that the way that it's written is very interesting because the accident that happens at the beginning of the book, you don't really know what happens to the characters in the accident up until the very end. So you kind of see that period of them getting into the accident and then all of kind of the flashback moments and seeing their relationship build up and how they grew up together. And then at the end, you truly get to see what happens to these characters as a result of the accident. And literally the ending of this book like left me devastated. Like it was so sad. You guys know I'm a crybaby. Like I cry with anything, but like don't take this lightly. Like I was devastated. Like I was heartbroken at the end of this book. Like don't let my smile fool you. Like I was crying. So just beware if you are going to this book, there are trigger warnings for death, self-harm, and teenage pregnancy, so just beware of those before you go into the book. And if you do have the same copy that Jaleesa and I have with the Target sticker, just rip away the sticker because it's not pretty. And those are all the books that I have for you guys today. Those are all my... Wait, that feels kind of wrong. These are not my favorites. Did you think these were my favorites? Because they're not my favorites. These are actually Jaleesa's favorites. April Fools! Happy April Fools, everyone. Happy April 1st. What's up? Hello. How are we doing? It feels so weird. Hello, book reading friends. How is everyone doing? Hello, everyone. I need to peep these comments when this video actually goes up because I need to see if you guys actually thought that these were my favorites. Because if you thought these were my favorites, we're about to have words because I ain't never read Date City. I ain't never read, what's the other book? If He Had Been With Me, or the Christina Forrest book. I don't know them. Like Date City is one that I definitely need to read. Like clearly I own it. Nine Tails and Amari, thankfully I do agree. They are my favorites too. But the research that I had to do to get into the Jalisa mindset because we up in here, we are from B-Way, okay? We are Broadway actors. And so I just really had to get into her mindset to kind of see how she talked about these books, why she liked them. I also had to do some deep dive into Goodreads to see what the people were saying because honestly, when I tell y'all I have like no idea about Kristen, what's it called again? Yeah, the other book. I already forgot what it is. I just had no idea, so I had to do my research. But these are actually, again, Jalisa, one of my closest friends here on BookTube, part of the inner circle. She is one of my closest friends here on BookTube, and these are actually her favorites, so not mine, unfortunately. If you thought, no. I don't know if you guys caught any of the hints. I'm wearing a cardigan, and I am actually wearing my typical necklace that I always wear with my M, but I made a small addition. I added this ring because Jalisa wears her J necklace with a ring, and so I had to do that. Also, the beginning scene with the lip balm, classic Jalisa move on the live stream. So, you know, kind of had to drop some hints in there, and then the little winks throughout the video, and then just me saying, oh, Jalisa loves this, Jalisa's favorite. If you caught this, if you knew from the start, props to you. All jokes aside though, if you do want to see my favorite videos, you can go to my girl Kristen's channel because she is actually the one doing my favorites. So Book Some More with Kristen G. All of my friends will be linked down below because this is a collab, you know, amongst ourselves, and I truly just want to see all of our videos and see what all of us have said about each other's favorite books, because I'm sure all of us are making up the craziest things about these books. I truly just had to go like the more low-key kind of, you know, kind of throw a joke in there, Jalisa type thing moment, because I had to. I couldn't just say I hate Hilo. I guess I could have if I really wanted to. But yes, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It's probably going to be a shorter one than I typically do, but the next one will compensate because my next video is going to be the 24-hour readathon vlog, and that vlog is probably going to be like an hour long. So like, you know, whatever length was not here is going to be there, and it's going to be great. You guys are going to really enjoy that. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your favorite books of all time, or if you thought that I was going to mention some of my favorites, what do you think my favorites are before you head on to Kristen's channel, because I also want to know what you guys thought my favorites would be. And if you haven't yet to subscribe, don't forget to do so down below for more bookish content. And if you want more exclusive content, I do have a Patreon. The month of April, we are buddy reading 2 books. We are buddy reading Stalking Jack the Ripper and The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane, so we have some buddy reads happening. Also, my Patreons got to see this video first, so I hope they were able to help me out with trolling you in the comments. So the Patreon is all around a good time if you want more one-on-one access to me and my content and more live streams. The Patreon is the way to go. That is also linked down below, and all of my socials are also linked down below alongside my Patreon if you do want to check those out. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I shall see you on the next one. I love you, April Fools. Hope I got you. It was a great time. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.